As of today, July 11th, the war effort is basically almost completed. Yesterday night at about 3 PST, the AQ War F went live. And something that unintentionally happened was a bug within the chain line for the Scarab Lord mount. Now, basically, with the release of the AQ War effort, a bug caused a small number of players who entered BWL just before the content was unlocked to be unable to complete the only one may rise. Now, if you're unsure what this is the beginning to the Scarab Lord quest. So basically what ended up happening, TLDR for everyone that doesn't really want to listen to everything and just wants to listen to the meat and potatoes here, only one may rise is available before the content patch of the AQ opening technically. Now, what ended up happening is, because they picked up the quest earlier before the content was actually out and loaded into a pre-patched instance, the head of Broodlord Lashlair was not actually a object. So to address this and allow effective players to complete only one may rise, they're temporarily updating Blackwing Lair to have a daily reset. Yeah, that's right, a daily reset. Now that means BWL will be able to be, if you ran it yesterday or you ran it any time this week, that means you can go and run BWL once more again with your guild. And ironically, everyone's probably messaging me right now. Oh no, that's just Chebs telling me not to do AV. As if I wasn't gonna do that. But now, for example, I have no world buff, so I've got to get fully world buff. I've got rated at 1:30 my time. It's 7:30 in the morning my time. I woke up, if you value your sanity. Chebs, I'm not going to fucking Warsong Gulch, or I'm not going to AV. It's trash. It's trash. This is my last week for my second rank 14 character. Trust me, I don't want to do it anymore. There's going to be a video about the whole High Warlord system and everything on later this week, maybe even next week. But regardless, back to the topic at hand. So basically, BWL will be resetting on a daily period until tomorrow, technically. So it's just really 2 days of resets to get this quest. But it will revert to having its 7-day period at 2300 UTC on 7/12/2025 for all regions. And that will be 4 p.m. PDT, 7 on EDT. So the way they've worded this, by the way, BWL will revert to having its 7-day reset period on 2300 UTC on 7/12. That is tomorrow for all regions. So that means at 4 PDT, so Pacific Daylight Time, and 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, so Eastern Time Zone, that will revert to its 7-day lockout period. Now, I found a very interesting question. Does that mean this raid reset occurs at 2300 UTC on 7/12 and clears your previous ID, and you can do another raid that becomes your weekly? Or does that mean any ID, raid ID that you're saved to before 2300 becomes your weekly lockout? And I think that's a valid question. I'd love to hear what some of you guys think in the comments below. I think, and I could be wrong for taking this at face value, I think if you get your raid in today, that being the 11th, because it is reset. I just did BWO yesterday. I just got this helmet yesterday. I haven't even put the enchant on. Sorry, Toxico, our main tank. He got really mad at me for taking this, but I'm going to be taking a lot of AQ20s, brother. I'm going to be taking AQ20s, and I ain't trying to fold over. Lionheart helmet is Poopy Caca. Poopy Caca wee whiz for tanking. So, anyways, but yeah. It looks like as if you're going to be able to get a lockout today for BWL and potentially even 2 more lockouts this week if you were to raid Saturday in the morning, because it should be reset, and then another reset after Saturday if your previous raid ID is no longer, I'm not even going to AV, I don't know what to do. Your previous raid ID is attached to this week, or if it's another fresh reset. And on Sunday, you can run your 4th BWL for the week. Because if you think about it, you probably ran one already. If you didn't run one already, you probably ran one already. You could run one today, and it looks like you're going to be able to get one tomorrow. And if they don't do that reset, where whatever reset you have on Saturday is your weekly reset, you then get another reset of BWL. Now, I could imagine a lot of people actually having a huge problem with this. And the reason being is, let's say I can't raid. I got work to do today. You know, let's say I couldn't raid by God's gift of creation. I don't have a life or anything. Let's be real. 90% of us don't have lives. We play World of Warcraft. But for example, there's a huge fear of missing out. How are you going to deal with the players that can't get a full 40 raid group or even a 30 raid group? And like I said, I'm sitting here waiting for a Neff head to go get the rest of my world buffs. and I've only got 4 hours roughly to go get Ren Cap, DMT, Songflower, pray a Neff head drops in that time. Go get ZG. ZG will be easy with how frequent people be running it. But you see the massive steps. Now, every person is not going to have to want to do this either. Let's be real. Not everyone plays a warrior. There's certain world buffs that you could skip on classes, obviously. But still, how would you feel if Blizzard basically just said, hey, by the way, we're going to impromptu allow raid lockouts for loot? I mean, this could be a little cool catch-up system, but again, there's going to be a massive fear of missing out if you yourself do not. I'm so glad I grinded roids for some reason last night, and I'm glad I did that. That's one last one. We're going to try to get the ZG first, actually. But yeah, I figured I'd bring that to light. I can't seem to find out what exact time this comment was made at, but this was obviously made last night in the evening when it said BWL was reset in 8 hours and 32 minutes. So I'll be able to update in the comments because, like I said, I'm going to be running a BWL at 1 and at 1:30 p.m. my time, Eastern time zone. The video will already be out. But yeah, I'll update in the comments below as soon as I know my actual like raid reset timer, so everyone knows when it is. Because in theory, if it tells me my raid reset timer on Saturday, the day where it's actually supposed to reset, and if it resets before then yes, you will be able to get your 4th lockout. That's right. Not your 1st, not your 2nd, not your 3rd. You could potentially get 4 BWL lockouts before AQ actually opens, which is kind of insane to think about. But it requires you to literally have no life, not enjoy summer, and sit in your dark room with the blue lights and just sit and stare at a screen. Regardless, I think this is like kind of neat that they're trying to help. I think something simple could have been done as far as if a player opened up a bug report and the game was found that they were on the quest previously and they tried looting the head and it did not work, or they weren't eligible in the instance, then I think Blizzard should be able to retroactively send out the heads or something. I know they can do this with deleted loot. It does take a lot of manpower, if you will, and I mean, it's something that old Blizzard would have done. New Blizzard, I'm unsure if they would have done it. And what I mean by new Blizzard is this new generation of devs that really weren't in the game 5 to 6 years ago, but they recently have come on because of the new projects. I figured I'd just make this quick little video and toss this together, let you guys know that, hey, you guys can get more BWL lockouts before the AQ gates actually launch. In theory, the gates should be launching very soon. Again, I said the 17th is probably like the earliest, and I still stand by that. You're going to have to talk to Vale. This will allow quests. This will allow people to knock out the shifting quest. You may see people actually finish the shifting sands quest this weekend without having to wait the full week because they have to talk to Vale. That's actually the biggest stipulation behind this is you had to get the head, you had to do a whole bunch of crap, and then you had to come back and talk to Vale the next week. And because you had already killed Vale to get to Broodlord is what stopped this progress of the Scepter quest being completed. And now that, obviously, this potentially could be done today, I mean, within a 48-hour time zone, which is, weirdly enough, like roughly what Apes did back in the day. But yeah, the Broodlord quest, again, is the quest that allows you to, like, after you finish it and turn the head in, it's the quest that allows you to get the Carapace fragments. So every 200 is 200 rep, and it allows you to deputize, like, people around the server to go get the fragments and bring them back to you. Now, if you're deputized, you can get the fragments, but you can't turn them in for rep. So regardless, you have to finish the Broodlord Lash Lair quest to actually get further progress into the Shifting Sands quest line. Again, this is just a quick little update. I'm going to just kind of toss this together really quick, get it out for you guys. I'll be streaming my BWL on Twitch today. I'm unsure. So I do a speed run on Thursday nights, and I'm unsure if we're going to send another attempt or two tonight. I know we had someone on the quest. They got the quest after because we raid at 9 p.m., so that doesn't matter. But again, yeah, I figured I'd just update the community and let you guys know. And I'm sorry I couldn't get this out later that last night because I'd been up for 30 hours. I worked, went into raid, prepped for NA AQ gate launch, raided an NA speed run, and then started farming that super the greater fire power recipe in searing. But anyways, enough yapping, enough yambling. Come check the Titch out, join the Discord, and until next time, take care.